I'm sharing some stunning nature-inspired Christmas DIYs featuring the new Cricut Joy xTra. Hey there, it's Donna. I'm happy to have you joining me today. I have this wood frame that I had refinished. I'll have the video for that link down below. I am using these pieces of birch bark that I had foraged and flattened, and I'm going to piece them and cut in kind of like a puzzle to fill in the backing of the picture frame. Once I have the pieces all figured out, I'm just going to measure them and then cut them down to size so that they'll fit on the backing of our picture frame better. As you can see, I'm just using some scissors to trim it down. I'll be using a combination of some hot glue and some Aleene's tacky glue to glue these down to the backing. I want to say a big huge thank you to Cricut, as they are the sponsors of today's video. They sent me a Cricut Joy xTra to try out. I will have some affiliate links for the machines and products used within this video in the description box. So we've got our backing of our picture frame all filled in with our birch bark pieces. I'm just trimming them up a little bit more so it will fit in the back of our frame. Then I will just put it back into place, and I needed to add some extra bracing using some popsicle sticks on the back on the corners, as my piece was quite bulky with the birch bark, and this just helped keep it all intact. So the Cricut Joy xTra is a compact cutting machine that has the ability to print and cut, and will cut over 50 types of materials. I am going to be using some smart vinyl, which requires no mat, and this one is fitted for the Cricut Joy xTra. I'm in Cricut Design Space, and I am going into their images, and I'm going to select an image. I am typing into the search bar, "Let Heaven and Nature Sing." I thought that would be a fitting thing for my picture frame. So this is all the images within the Cricut Access subscription service. You can have a free trial of that as well if you'd like. I am deciding on which image I want to use on Add to Canvas in the bottom right hand corner, and then I'm going to adjust it. I'm selecting the Cricut Joy xTra as my machine that I am using for this project, and there are size limits. What will happen is that you'll get a red circle alerting you that this project is too big for the Cricut Joy xTra machine, so I'm going to just size it down at the top. Once you have a size that will work with the Cricut Joy xTra, the warning will disappear. Of course, you can do these projects with any type of Cricut machine. I tipped make in the top right hand corner, and that will take you to the production page, and I'll click continue on the bottom. Now this is a Bluetooth supported device. It requires no cording, which I love for my small craft room. I am selecting the smart vinyl in matte metallic in the browse section of the materials page. You want to make sure it's got a check mark on it. So the screen's going to prompt you to load your material. I am using this beautiful champagne gold smart vinyl. Again, this does not require a mat, which is awesome when you're making some bigger projects. So I'm just going to go ahead and load the edge, and it'll grab the material and pull it through and measure to make sure that you've got the right size. Just a word of warning, make sure that your space is clean. Mine wasn't, so I got debris on my material. So now you can click the go button on your computer in the bottom right hand corner, and the machine's going to start to cut out the vinyl. Now there are already preset settings within Cricut Design Space, so it makes it so easy to use all the different products that the machine will cut. You can see how well that cut. Once it's done, you can click unload on your computer screen, and you can save your project as needed. So here is my image all ready to go. I'm just going to trim it down to size, and then I'm going to start to weed this. The machine came with a cute little weeding tool. I actually really like this size. It makes it so much easier to weed. Personally, I really like that. And then I'm just going to weed out all the little bits within the letters as well. And then you can start to use your transfer tape. So this one is designed for Cricut Joy xTra. So I'm just going to cut it down to size using my paper trimmer. And then I am going to use my weeding tool just to lift the backing off of the transfer tape. And I find that this works really well. And then you want to slowly add it to your image. So I am going to just start to peel back the backing and put it into place. So I want you to remember this because I made a little bit of a mistake coming up here where I should have gone through this process of slowly adding the transfer tape onto my surface and removing the backing. So once you got that in place, you can then use your scraper tool and start to burnish this. So one thing I have to say about the Cricut machines is that you can use a combination of both your computer and they also have an app for you to use. I like to do my work on the computer. I just find that it's easier to see what you are doing, but that is just personal choice. So I'm going to continue to burnish this away until the image is fully transferred onto the transfer paper. I am working slowly here. Now, this is actually what I should not have done. I should have left my image on the backing and slowly lifted it at the top like you see me doing here. I should have done this when I was applying it onto my glass of my frame. And let me tell you, it would have made it easier for me to get my image perfectly centered and even, but I don't know. I just took it right off of the backing and tried to center it, eyeball it here and put it into place. It did work, but I think if I would have done it the other way, I probably would have had a little bit of an easier time. It did bubble a little bit here and there, but you can see if you do it this way, rather than just eyeballing it like I did, I think you would definitely have an easier time. I just continued to work here. I just ended up burnishing and slowly peeling back the transfer tape. And I did take my time because I did not want to end up causing any damage to the vinyl here after I realized that I made the mistake that I did. But it turned out beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's going to look amazing in our home for the Christmas season. I am going to be sharing with you the mini press and some smart iron-on vinyls for this project. So I have a wood slice here. I'm actually doing 3 of them. I'm poking a hole in the side here, and then I'm going to add my eye hook. Now, some wood slices come pre-drilled, so if you have those, awesome. You don't have to do this step. So mine don't have that, so I'm adding a little hanger to mine. I'm painting each wood slice in a different color, some cream, which is an off-white, hunter green, and some holiday red. I am just going to go ahead and paint these. I'm only giving them 1 coat because I want a bit of the wood grain to come through. I find that that just helps to create a rustic look. I set those aside and allowed them to dry, and now I'm going back into Cricut Design Space and selecting all my images. I decided to use 3 circles here. My wood slices are 2.5 to 2 3/4 inch wide. I made my circles 2.5 inches. I'm changing each color according to my wood slices, and I'm adding 3 different wood slices for this design, but I'm going to work with them all together on the same page. I tapped on images to the left, and I tapped on holidays and then Christmas, and I searched all the different designs that they have. You can see that they've got different search options to the left of the screen here. This is again all done on my computer. You can also add some design or some search options in the top in the search bar as well. You can save some. You can click on the free images as well. They do have some free options for you to use. Add to canvas, and then you can adjust your images as desired. Again, I'm just going to go and search up animals. I wanted to try and find a little bird to add to this, and I decided to go with this cardinal. Again, that one's a free option for you to use. And now I wanted to try to find like a little Christmassy saying, so I went and I had pre-searched a bunch of images and I bookmarked them. You can see that there's a flag in the bottom corner of each image. And then I went and I found that image that I had saved in all my saved images here. I chose Happy Christmas. It's a really intricate design, and I wanted to see how well the machine could handle such a small and intricate cut. So I'm adjusting the size here, and I'm putting it onto my 1 circle. If you highlight it and go to the top and align to center it, you can see how nice it looks on the circle. If there's anything that you want to hide, such as these little golden circles, you just go to the right and click on the eye and that will hide the image. I also wanted this wreath to be all one color, so I selected that layer and I clicked on the green and that changed the whole thing to green. I highlight the whole thing and I attach it together at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. I'm adjusting the size, putting it on the green circle. I'm going to align it as well when I highlight, and you can see how everything is looking. So I'm going to do the same with the cardinal, and then everything will be ready to cut. There are a couple of extra steps that I'm going to do. I want to hide each circle, as I was only doing those to see what my designs would look like on my wood slices. So I'm going to hide those, going over to the right, clicking on the little eye icon, and then each individual image that I have, I'm going to hide that as well, because I'm cutting this out of some 3 different vinyls. I selected Make It on the top right hand corner, and I'm doing this without a mat, and then I'm going to continue. You are going to need to mirror this image because there is writing, and we are going to be cutting this out on the back side of our vinyl. So I've mirrored it, and then I'm going to click continue, and now it's going to use the Bluetooth and connect to the device. I'm going to browse the materials section and find this material that I'm going to be using. I am using Smart Iron-On, and I'm going to continue here, and it's going to ask us to load the material into the machine. So when you load the material, you are going to want to put the shiny side down. That's very, very important. The dull side is what's going to adhere to your material. So I've loaded that up, and I'm going to go back over to my computer screen, and I am going to continue by clicking on the Go button. So I'm back over here checking to make sure that everything is cutting out just fine. I was so impressed with how well this machine cut this intricate design out. I have to say, this machine is so versatile, especially since it does have the print and cut capability. So you can see how well that it looks. I'm going to unload it now, and that will release the vinyl from the machine. And then I'm going to go ahead and hide this image, bring up the cardinal, and continue on with each of my materials and images the same way that I did with the original. You just want to make sure when you go and select your material, you select the appropriate one for each image that you're creating, and then it will have all the preset cutting settings that you need for that particular material. So I'm going to continue on here working on the beautiful green wreath that I've got. I'm going to be using the Prismatic glitter. It is a gorgeous iron-on glitter transfer. So all my iron-ons are done, and now I'm just going to cut them down to a more workable size, and then you want to use your little weeding tool to remove any of the excess. And then I'm also using the little weeding tool to get into the middle where I don't need any of the design. So I was excited to see how well this intricate design cut out. I was being very, very careful removing the excess vinyl, and then I needed my weeding tool to remove all the little bits in the middle. I admit this was a little tricky, but I did get it done. And then I did the bird as well. So you're going to want to follow the heat guide in the Cricut Design Space, and it's going to tell you what you need to do for each device, each material, and like the iron-on material, as well as the material base. So you want to select each one, click on the apply button, and then follow all the instructions that are on the screen. The instructions are going to be different depending on the material and base that you are using. So I'm going to turn my mini heat press on by tapping it twice as what the instructions told me to do. I have my mini heat press pad, a flat surface, some parchment paper, and some heat safe Cricut tape. My mini press is all ready to go. So now I'm going to just trim down this design just to make it so it's a little bit more easy to work with. And I'm going to apply the heat safe tape just to the edge of our design here. I don't want to cover up the design here, so just be careful not to do that. I'm going to preheat the surface of our ornament, and then I'm going to put our design into place. I'm going to allow the tape to adhere, so that helps to keep it all nice and sturdy. I'm using my parchment paper, and now this is where it became a little bit tricky for me because I have never used the mini press before, but it lifted a little bit, so I had to go back into each design and start to press again. But I learned that if you go more slowly and apply pressure, it ended up working a whole lot better for me. So you can see how everything looks here. Now I'm going to just add some string and twine as needed to decorate our little ornaments, and then they are going to be all set to go and hang on our tree. You can of course decorate these any way you'd like, but I thought they would be great to make for a gift set, or again, just for your tree. You can even use these as gift tags or hostess gift. I love how they turned out, and I'm so happy with how well all these iron-on transfers worked on the wood. So I want to say a big huge thank you again to Cricut for sponsoring today's video, and I want to thank all of you for joining me today, and we shall see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.